Ben Affleck's been in the news a lot recently in the past year, hasn't he? Mainly because of his casting in the Batman-Superman crossover film, but less because of his work for the cracking film Argo. Yes, that's right, the film that won Best Picture last year at this year's Oscars. A film that won Best Picture, Best Screenplay and Best Editing. Surprisingly, no nomination for Best Director, because I thought he did a cracking job. But I digress. This is how Argo goes. It's November 1979. In Iran, the citizens are rebelling at the US Embassy for the US President Jimmy Carter giving the Shah, who was dictatorial in Iran, asylum from terminal cancer. And at this turn of events, the Iranian citizens stormed the embassy, taking many hostage, but 6 managed to escape. As news of what happens hits America, a mission to free the 6 gets underway. Ideas are rejected, ideas are sort of accepted even though they have flaws, until one CIA agent, Tony Mendez, comes up with a cracking idea. Pretend that a group of people want to shoot a film in Iran, and that the 6 people are part of the production crew. Despite reservations, the plan is accepted, and Mendez heads off into Iran to free the 6 hostages who were hiding in the Canadian embassy. When I first saw this film, I freaking loved it. Ben Affleck does a cracking job acting and directing. His role as Tony Mendez, the agent who couldn't get his commendation after the mission for 16 years until the US government released the details of the rescue mission. But as I say, he does a cracking turn for acting and directing. He's not the person he once was in 2003 when he did Geely. Oh no. He really has made a turning point for the better. As for everyone else, they do a cracking job acting. Even the minor characters like Hamilton Jordan, who's the White House Chief of Staff and played by Kyle Chandler, and in a sort of bigger but minor role, Mendez's supervisor Jack O'Donnell, played by the ever-brilliant Bryan Cranston. On not one but 2 lesser notes, this film can be used as a bit of a history lesson for those who don't know much about the Iranian hostage crisis and want to learn more. This can serve as a bit of a starting point. And the other point is, this film does have some inaccuracies. For instance, the film says that the British and New Zealand embassies turned away the 6 Americans, when in actuality they weren't turned away. The British and New Zealand embassies gave asylum to the 6 before they moved on to the Canadian embassy, which was given much of the credit for its role in protecting the survivors until Mendez arrives. But as I say, this film can serve as a bit of a starting point for learning about the hostage crisis. I'm not saying you have to learn entirely from it, you can just learn some bits from it as a starter. There are many other sources you can learn or use to learn about the crisis. But I'm not here to talk about history, I'm here to talk about the film review. And as a whole, as I say, I love this film. And I have to say, going off subject towards his casting in the Batman-Superman crossover, I think he could do a good job. I mean, if you think about it, people were against Michael Keaton becoming Batman in 1989, I should say, and people were eventually against that. Look how that turned out. People say he's the best now. When Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker, people said he couldn't do it. Now everyone's saying he's the best Joker of all time. You just need to give Ben Affleck a chance.